Hi everyone, my name's Lily and I'm the book blogger behind Utopia State of Mind, and today I'm bringing you part 2 of my popular book Twitter rankings. This is part 2. The full video ended up being an hour, so I cut it into 2 half-an-hour sections, which is why you don't see an actual intro from me and it's just this screen. So I hope you enjoyed the rest of this ranking series, and without further ado, let's just get into it. Legend. Legend is also one of those books where I feel like if I was reading it at the time, I would have enjoyed it a lot more. I'm gonna say that Legend for me was like 3 stars when I think about it overall. I think in general my ratings were all around 3 and 4. I just felt like the world of Legend was not as interesting. And I read Warcross and Wildcard before Legend. And I know that they're technically kind of like in similar... I thought they were in the same universe. Or is it that they're in the same universe as the other Marie Lu series? Is that other Marie Lu series here? No. Okay. So, yeah, I read it afterwards because of the hype, essentially. And I liked it, but I guess I wasn't super impressed. And as I said, I definitely think if I had been reading this as, like, you know, teen me had been reading this, maybe I would have liked it a lot more. But for me, I felt like some of the character dynamics were a little bit lacking, and I did like some of the kind of like the twists and stuff, but I remember also not knowing enough about the world, essentially, and so that's still kind of my overwhelming impressions when I think about it now. Ninth House, I'm gonna give it 2. I've now talked about how disappointed I was by Ninth House in so many videos, in my most disappointing videos, and I think in my November wrap-up. Like, I'm not going to talk about it right now, but, you know, if you want to know, I'll link the videos below because I get into it a lot in those. So, the next one, I gotta bring the computer up to my face. Oh, Percy Jackson, that's the next one. I'm gonna put on TBR. I've seen so much hype recently for Percy Jackson. I don't know if it's because of maybe like a series of, like a TV series announcement or whatever. I'm gonna put it on TBR. I think this is gonna be one of those things where if I read the first book and I don't really enjoy it, then I'm gonna move on. But I know that I've missed the ideal, like, intended audience range for Percy Jackson, and for so many of my friends, it's like so nostalgic for them. So I'm gonna read it. We'll see how it is. So is the next one the Raven Cycle? Because I think that they're... bringing the computer closer to my face. I think that there are 2... No, there's only one of the Maggie Steve blah 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 blahs. I don't even know what the rest of her name is. Maggie Steve blah. I think I'm gonna put this on not going to read. I won like a Skype call with Roshani Chokshi, because I'm part of the Silvered Serpent Street team. And I remember she recommended one of the Maggie Stiefvater, I think, books, but I don't think it was the Raven Boys. I think it was the Scorpio Races. And so because of that, I think that one's on my TBR, because we were talking basically on the call about the idea of objects having memories, and the idea, because that's what I loved a lot about her books, the Gilded Wolves, like, trilogy, essentially. And what I was thinking a lot about is, like, the idea of objects having memories and the idea of kind of passing those on. And I think that's why she recommended that one to me. But if you've read the Scorpio Races or whatever it's called, because I don't actually know, please let me know below, because I'm very interested. Red Queen. Red Queen's on a not going to read. I just don't really know if I'm gonna read that. It's, as I said, for some of these, it's not that I have anything against them, they're just not high on my TBR. So yeah, I feel like actually if we were looking about not high in my TBR, then there'd be basically nothing here. Cause, like, I feel like Kingdom of Scars also shouldn't be on my TBR, because I'm not gonna read it if I don't love Shadow and Bones. I'm gonna move that down actually to not going to read. It's not that I'm not gonna read it, as I said. If I like the first trilogy, then I'll go to that one, but yeah. Renegades. So I'm gonna put that also on not going to read. I know a lot of people who really love Marissa Meyer. I haven't read any of Marissa Meyer, but Cinder is on my TBR. So I'm gonna put Cinder there, because since Cinder is on my TBR, I'm gonna see if I like Cinder. That's been super hype, but I also really love the new covers, actually. And yeah, I'm gonna see if I like Cinder, and if I do, then maybe I'll like delve more into Marissa Meyer, but as a moment. there. Yo, I have got to increase the size for this one. I don't even see, like, what does this actually say? Okay, I gotta make it even more. Seriously, what does this say? Is it just me that can't read this? Rhapsody. I'm gonna put this on. I gotta make everything super small again. I'm gonna put that on not gonna read. I have no idea what that says. But while we're on not gonna read, let's put the Cassandra Clare ones. I have read, I think I almost finished one of the Cassandra Clare's City Shadowhunters. Is Shadowhunters Cassandra Clare? I remember reading that one and I thought it was okay. It's like urban fantasy YA ones. I just didn't like find myself super interested. And I actually think I maybe have read Clockwork Prince or City of Bones, not Shadowhunters. So I've read it. But I will put Chain of Gold and Clockwork Angel there because, and Lady Midnight. Wow, that's a lot of Cassandra Clare. Yeah, I just remember reading it and being like, I like it, but it's not enough for me to continue reading like everything in that universe. I also have no idea about Chain of Gold and Lady of Midnight. Like, I don't know where those take place and like what happens at all. City of Bones. Let's put City in Bones, not in DNF because I read it. Let's put it in 2 stars. For me, I guess I liked the urban fantasy YA because at the time I hadn't read any of them. And then I will say City of Bones I read when I was a teen. So I was the intended audience. Yeah, I hate the cover of City of Bones. Maybe that's just me, but it's weird. Like, why is this? A, it just looks like a naked man, and I'm pretty sure this is a YA series. And B, like, I don't understand it. I like the other covers much better of the ones at the below. But yeah, I'm gonna put it in 2 stars. I don't remember being super in love with this series, and I also felt, I think at the time, like, there are a lot of books in this series, and there have been only more books in this series. And yeah, I don't know anything about the other Cassandra Clare books. Okay, let's keep going. So, Red, White, and Royal Blue. I've read Red, White, and Royal Blue. I'm gonna put it in 4 stars. I think that's one of those, like, comfort reads that I go back to, and I'll read my favorite sections of Red, White, and Royal Blue. I won an arc of that, and I just remember this was, like, one of the first queer romance books I ever read. And so for me, it also has, like, a nostalgic place in my heart for that. I remember laughing out loud when I read the book, which doesn't happen often. And I just remember really liking the characters, too. So that's why it's going to go in 4 stars. I think it's really hard for me because I'm thinking, like, should it be in 4 and 5? For tentatively, I'm going to put in 4. Because I don't remember, I think maybe when I read it, I gave it 5 stars. But for me, with time, sometimes things go up or down. And so for me, for Red, White, and Royal Blue is like a very solid fave, but maybe it's not something where I like want to scream about it all the time, I guess. So that's where I'm going to put it in there. Oh, by the way, I've zoomed you into normal because doing it so small was really hard. So Scythe. Oof. So Scythe. I've read all of these, and I read the trilogy, so this is going to be like a trilogy-wide review. For me, I loved the world building of Scythe, and that's honestly what I loved the most. Like, the trilogy of Scythe. I was pretty disappointed by the Toll because it was very action-packed, and what I'm drawn to in this trilogy, which is right behind me, was the world building, and so I felt like some of the things were brought up. And yeah, it's in my most disappointing books of 2020 video, so definitely the link is already down below. But yeah, that like soured it, and I think I gave that 3. And also Thunderhead I liked, but I didn't like it, I guess, as much as Scythe because I had heard a lot of hype about Scythe, but also I knew nothing about it. So I went into Scythe, and I was really happy about like the world building and all of that information. And so, yeah, I can think in general for the whole trilogy, I think maybe 3 stars. And if I was doing just Scythe, maybe 4. Serpent and Dove. I've read Serpent and Dove. I have not read Blood and Honey, which is, like, Serpent and Dove is so hyped. I remember reading Serpent and Dove, and I thought it was okay. I think I gave it like, I was on the fence between 3 and probably 3.5 when I read it to begin with, and then I heard some problematic things about it, about the magic system. Maybe I don't even remember the problematic things I heard about it, but yeah, I think I'm gonna put it in 2 stars. I don't actually know what my rating was. Okay, we're gonna break the Goodreads rule and we're gonna go. You're gonna see my like very shameful Goodreads stuff. Okay, we're going back. Yeah, Serpent of 2, Shadows Between Us TBR. Because it is on my TBR, and I think I got an arc of it too, so it's actually on my TBR, like, you should do it. I'm gonna go to Kill a Kingdom because, I just saw it. So, I think I gave it a 5, but I'm gonna do it a 4 now. I want more mermaid books. I read To Kill a Kingdom, I read, Sea Witch, and I read, what is that other, like, sea book? Yeah, I'm gonna put it solidly in 4 stars. For me, now that I think about it nostalgically, I bet it's probably between like 4.5, 4, big 4.5. I needed to read so many mermaid books, and I remember reading To Kill a Kingdom and really enjoying that aspect a lot. And also sirens, because it's not mermaids, it's sirens in To Kill a Kingdom. But yeah, I'm gonna put it in 4. Probably it's more like 4.5. I wish that we got more of To Kill a Kingdom, honestly. Because Into the Crooked Place for me was kind of disappointing because it kind of had like that groupie, heisty thing, but it was, the characters for me weren't really working in that one, in my opinion. Shatter Me is on my TBR. I have not read Shatter Me. It's one of my 2021 series I want to read. And yeah, it's on that. I have not read any of them. I own, I think, the first 3 in paperback. That's like a series. Is that series done? I hope that series is done. It's been like forever, and I kind of got the impression that for people, they weren't enjoying it as much as the books kept going on. But I also don't know anyone who like super loves Shatter Me. So I don't know. It's on my TBR. I would like to at least read Shatter Me this year, but all bets are off. Stalking Jack the Ripper. I've read the first Stalking Jack the Ripper. So let's see, where does that go? I'm going to put it in 3. I read this first Stalking Jack the Ripper. Super hyped. Like, the entire series is super hyped. I even own, I think, 1, 2, and maybe 3. No, I don't. No, do I own? Okay, I own 1 and 2. Stalking Jack the Ripper, I gotta say, I was not loving the characters as much as I thought I would. Like, I love the premise so much. I also really enjoyed how, I think her name is Audrey Rose. I enjoyed how she is, like, going against gender stereotypes and gender norms at the time. So I think I'm going to give it 3. I'm going to read the next ones, but I also felt like for the hype, I don't think it lived up to it in a few respects. I liked the plot and the action of it, even though I saw like the twist thing coming a really long time ago. But yeah, for me, I guess I enjoyed parts of her character, but didn't like feel as obsessed with her character as I wanted to be. And I also, at the time, I didn't really understand why she was in love with that dude. I don't even know his name. Oh wait, I do know his name. Thomas Cresswell, I think is his name. So yeah, it's in 3. I'm gonna probably read at least the second one because it's on my shelf. And then just see how I feel about it at that point. Because there are 4, I think. So I'm not gonna say that I'll read all of them because that would be a bold statement. 6 of Crows. We are getting to the last one. Yes. Okay. So 6 of Crows, I've read. I'm going to put that in solid 4. It's the first one I read of Leigh Bardugo's books, period. I really liked the group dynamics. I felt very attached to certain characters in the crew. I really liked the world of Ketterdam. I really liked the world of it. And that if I didn't like it as much, I probably wouldn't go back and read the rest of the Grishaverse. I have heard, though, from people who've read both and read them chronologically, which I did not do, that 6 of Crows is better written, at least, than the first trilogy. So that's why I'm kind of moderating my hype and expectations going into Shadow and Bone, but I have no idea if that's true. So, I mean, if you know, let me know, but I don't know. Cruel Prince. That's on my TBR. I haven't read The Cruel Prince. Look, Ollie Black does not need my PR. Everyone like a lot of people love The Cruel Prince. 5 million special editions and book boxes and fandom hype. Like, I don't need, to be like championing that book, essentially being like, oh, did you know about it? Like, it's so underhyped. It's not so underhyped. It's like super hyped. It is on my TBR though because I own them. And I think I own like all the normal and all the special edition. I don't know how that happened. I don't. I guess for me, if I really liked it, I wanted to get the special edition ones just in case, because at that time, they weren't doing the reprints of the special edition, for example, The Cruel Prince. And then I was always like, okay, if I don't really like them, I can sell them later or trade them or whatever. So it's on my TBR. It's probably one of the least TBR things on my list because I don't know. I don't generally read a lot of fairy books that I really like, and maybe obviously The Cruel Prince will change me, but I'm reading A Dark and Hollow Star at the moment right now, which does have fairies, and it's taken me a lot to get into it, to be honest, because I guess, yeah, I mean, I like the idea of fairies a lot, but I guess I gotta, like, have it done right, and I don't know if I've read, like, 2% of A Dark and Hollow Star, so please, like, don't judge what I'm saying. But yeah, I'm intrigued by fairies. It's kind of like vampires, right? I'm really intrigued by the idea. I want to read a really, really good one. I just don't think I've read anywhere I'm like, oh my god, this is so amazing, essentially. The Selection. That's on my not going to read. I know a lot of people really like The Selection, but I haven't read it, and like, I don't know. I don't know really if The Selection is like about debutantes. From the cover, you would assume it's about debutantes because they're wearing a lot of dresses, is all I'm saying. And I liked it, I guess, in like the bells, for example, but as a whole, if I think about it as like an element perspective, I'm not hugely into that and like into all of the suitor relationships kind of things. So if it's truly what it's about, kind of, then it's, yeah, this is not on my TBR. The Hunger Games. I read The Hunger Games. I read them as a teen, so I read them in the intended audience. I gotta give it a 3. I remember reading it and really, this is one of those things, obviously, this is one of those things also where as I read it, I enjoyed it less and less. 1 and 2, I enjoyed. 3, not so much. So that's where it's on 3 stars. Nostalgically, it's super favorite for me because I read it as a teen, and I must have read it before the 3rd one had come out, by the way. But I remember reading it, I want to say between 1 and 2, and actually my dad listened to the audiobook first. And he said, I think you should read this, I think you would enjoy it. So I don't know how he found it. I think how he found it, like, look at that cover. He reads a lot of, like, mystery, thriller kind of books, detective books, high-stake danger books. So I do think that that's kind of how it got onto his radar, and maybe it was new at the library or whatever. But for me, that's so nostalgic. It's so fun to like get a book recommendation from my dad. And then to have it blow up. Because when he recommended it to me, it was like popular enough that, it had been on audiobook, it had been out for a while. But it certainly was not as hyped as it is now. So, funny story. Night Circus on my TBR. I haven't read The Night Circus, and I also haven't read Starless Sea, but of course, like, everyone freaking loves those books, and yeah, it's on my TBR. I don't know if I'll love it. Everyone keeps recommending it to me, so I guess it's on the TBR. Throne of Glass, not going to read. I think I own Throne of Glass, because I think I got it on like a Kindle deal. Not gonna read it. Song of Achilles. I'm gonna put that in 3. So keep moving. I put it in 3. Oof. What did I actually... I think I gave Song of Achilles 4. So, I read Song of Achilles, and I really, really liked it. I thought it was good. I listened to an audiobook, which made it really emotional, because, like, the characters and the angst were just, like, in your ears all the time. But I definitely liked Circe more. Just because I felt like Circe's story, especially for me, and I don't know a ton about Greek mythology, right? But Circe's story for me was just more more mysterious, I was gonna say underhyped, but like less understood is what I mean to say. I gave it 5. Okay, I guess I'll give it 4. Just because now when I read Song of Achilles first, which I read it before Circe, because I read an arc of Circe, I remember really enjoying it and it like transporting me emotionally, which I think is really cool because I haven't read a lot of Greek mythology books that have done that for me. I was kind of disappointed by lore. And as I said, I haven't read Percy Jackson, and literally those are the only two Greek mythology books I can think of at the moment. But I do think that it was really cool because it got a lot of people into that. And so, yeah, but I guess looking back upon it now, I do think I liked Cersei a lot better, and so I think it's going to go into 4 for me. Hope I didn't hurt anyone's feelings. So we're going to put that in 3. But maybe that's due for a reread. If you really love it, let me know if I should reread it, because I definitely haven't read the second. What is the second called even? The Rose and the Dagger. Have not read that for sure. But yeah, I don't even remember. I think I read The Wrath and the Dawn very similar when I read The Star-Touched Queen. And I got them confused a lot in my mind because I think I read them back to back. So definitely let me know if I should read The Wrath and the Dawn again. Or, yeah, because I don't remember anything about it. This is the thing. I think I read it when I wasn't even reviewing things as well. Like, I think I read it in college or something. So, yeah. Okay, we're almost done. Vicious. Oh, is this that J? I'm gonna put it on not going to read. I don't know what that says. Like, why are they so small? I wish you could, like, double click on them and they would get bigger. I'm putting Vicious by V. Schwab on my TBR. It's here, Vicious and Vengeful. I have the UK edition. I think that this is one of the last series besides A Darker Shade of Magic I need to read from V. Schwab. I read Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, which actually isn't a series, so I don't know why I'm saying it. But I read The Dark Duet and The Savage Song. I'm trying to read A Darker Shade of Magic, and I think Vicious and Vengeful are the other ones I haven't read. So that's on my TBR, and actually I was hoping to buddy read it with Hannah, because I buddy read Savage Song and Our Dark Duet with Hannah, so that's my goal. For Warcross, I'm going to put it on 3. I love the idea of the world of Warcross. I'm just going to say that. Like, I'm a huge sucker for sci-fi world building, and I really liked the idea of the Warcross world building. Like, I really loved the idea of, like, virtual gaming and stuff like that. But I also remember not really knowing how I felt about other elements of the book. So I guess for Warcross, and I think I liked Warcross more than Wildcard, for example. But I think I remember reading Warcross and really liking that kind of atmosphere and the virtual gaming kind of thing. And yeah, in Wildcard, I just didn't like it, or I didn't enjoy it as much, especially because I didn't read Warcross as an arc, but I read Wildcard as an arc. So I guess for me, I was like late to the Warcross train, and then once I got like there to the station, I was kind of excited for Wildcard, but I definitely didn't enjoy it as much as Warcross. We're almost done. Wicked Saints. I'm gonna put you in 2 Wicked Saints. I love the idea of very intense world, like very intense. I wouldn't say bloody world, but like, I like the idea that magic has a price. I like the idea that magic costs you something. I think that worlds where magic doesn't cost you anything are kind of unrealistic. And I know that Wicked Saints, the world building, costs you stuff, for sure. But I didn't love the characters as much as I thought I would. So maybe I'll put it in like 2. It probably, in reality, is more like a 3-ish. But I think, don't correct me about this because I have no idea. I think I had heard like problematic things about the author or something like that ages ago, basically when the sequel to Wicked Saints came out. So I'm going to zoom us out. Let's not look at the not going to read. I'm going to zoom us out to here in the TBR, 5-star, 5 through 1 DNF and TBR. I hope you enjoyed this. As I said, if there are any in the not going to read or in the TBR category that you think I should prioritize or change my mind about, please let me know below. I'll leave the links to the things I mentioned. So anyway, I will leave all of the relevant links below. And yeah, as I said, let me know if I should like change my mind or prioritize some of my TBR ones. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!